Welcome to Inside Out with Chris, a podcast where there are no limits or surface level conversations. I'm your host, Chris Burns, a personal development coach on a mission to empower women to move the needle in all areas of their lives. Each week we dive into deep, thought-provoking conversations with inspiring guests. We're talking deep truths, raw experiences, and dropping game-changing takeaways to help you break free of the BS holding you back. Let's transform you from the inside out. Hello and welcome back to Inside Out with Chris, another spicy solo episode coming your way. It will be short, but these Thursday morning drops are always going to be short, always going to have a lot of mindfulness chit chats here and there, just to really give you that pep talk, give you an extra pep in your step, give you that motivation. It's drawing into the end of the week, and I know from my own experiences that sometimes that tends to allow for a lack of discipline, a lack of accountability, and a bit of a lack of motivation. So today I want to bring to you a topic or a theory that I've been sharing with my clients recently that I personally use in my own life, and it has really made some big changes for me when I'm feeling like anxious symptoms might be coming up, i.e. worrying about something, stressing out about something that I can't control. That's what I'm speaking to when I speak to the anxious symptoms. There's a fear of control, right? We don't have it, so we allow other symptoms to play out in our bodies. And something that has been making changes for my clients is the then what theory. So what that means is when you're in the depth of this spiral that might be playing out for you, then what can really allow you to anchor into some chunk down thoughts. So it's like, then what? Let's just say for an example, I'm spiraling because a decision was made about my life that I maybe didn't have any control over. And I start spiraling about, what am I going to do? And how am I going to afford this? Or how am I going to pay for this bill, right? Let's just say that you lost money on a car. I don't even know what the thing could be. But let's just say you're worrying about the thing. The then what theory is going, okay, then what? What's the worst case? So you go, then what, then what, then what, then what, then what? All the way until you get to worst case scenario. Let's play out the worst possible case scenario that you could be visualizing or imagining in your mind. Let's say worst case scenario, you have to start again. You've got no money, you've got no car, you have debt perhaps. If that's the worst case scenario, then I want you to go, okay, what would I do? What would my intention be? And start mapping that strategy out in your mind and be like, okay, well, if I had to start again, if I had no money, if I had no car, what would I actually choose to do? Well, I'd go and get a job. I'd put money away and save, or I'd pay off a debt, or I'd ask my mum or my grandmother or something for help. This isn't me I'm speaking about, but I'm speaking about an example for you hypothetically. You would ask for some support. Maybe you would make some changes, some lifestyle changes in your life. Maybe holidays weren't booked for a couple of years. Maybe things look just a little bit differently. Maybe you weren't driving an as expensive car or paying off debt. You drive something that costs less. Like if you literally are stressing about a money scenario, right? And that's over here. I want you to sit in that theory of, okay, then what? What am I going to do next? The chunking down, okay, well, if I don't have money for this, then I can find money this way. And chunk down to the worst case possible scenario, and then start making decisions to find control from there. So usually when we are having anxiety play out, we are fearing what's not in our control. So after you've done the worst case scenario and you've got a plan where worst case isn't really worst case, because let me guess, at worst case scenario from this problem or challenge or initiation that's come up for you, when you get down to the worst case scenario, I'm going to take a stab at it and say, you've got your health. I'm going to take a stab at it and say, your family's still okay. I'm going to take a stab at it and say, you are actually safe in your body. The worst case scenario wasn't actually the worst case scenario. So after you've identified that and you have a conscious awareness of that, I then want you to focus on the things that are in your control. And the number one thing that happens for my clients is they'll come out and they'll be like, that's not in my control, but I'm in control of my family and I'm in control of my health. But I want you to go even in that area and go, what's the worst case scenario? If I have no control at all of any piece of my life, what's the one thing I will always have control of? And when you think about that for a second, it might not come to you straight away what I'm feeling into, but what I then tell my clients is you are in control of your breath, your nervous system, your ability to regulate your emotions, your internal dialogue for allowing yourself to feel safe in your body comes back to breath. So when you are in that worst case scenario sort of mindset, you've played it out, you've found the safe space and the intentionality of, okay, I can get out of that problem, that challenge. I know I'm safe to remove myself from that. But then you're also having the physical symptoms in your body of no control. I want you to come back to what is the one thing you will always have control over. The one thing that you start your very first day of life, the very first time you come out of the womb, you breathe. And the thing that you do before you pass is you breathe. So that will always be the thing that you have control over. So at a worst case scenario of control, I want you to focus on regaining control in your breath. And that can look like something as simple as box breath, which is 4 inhale, hold for 4, and exhale for 4 counts, and repeating that a few times. I'm not a breathworks facilitator, but I have worked with a breathworks coach for over 3 years. And she's someone who has done breath for 25 years. She has breathed people into their birth. She breathed me into my children's births. And she is also someone that has breathed people into their deaths. So this is someone that I have worked very, very closely with as a mentor in a one-on-one, very much close proximity capacity. And she has taught me so many amazing things. And one of those things is that box breathing technique. If you're not sure about it, Google it, ChatGPT it, look it up on YouTube. There are so many resources for box breathing. And the other component to that is Wim Hof breath method, which is absolutely phenomenal, especially for the fast-paced women that I work with, the high-level women in business, in motherhood, the ones with the mental loads that are doing all the things, wearing all the hats. If you are that woman, then breath work, the Wim Hof method is absolutely for you. It's that little bit more fast paced. You'll probably get tingly fingers, things like that, but it's such an incredible, powerful tool to reset the nervous system, recalibrate where you're at, and just find control back in your body. I'm going to list those couple of resources in the show notes of this episode. I hope this brought you some value. I hope you've taken something away today to take into your everyday. The What Now method has changed the game for me in my own personal life and my own self-discovery journey for when I'm feeling those challenges and initiations just fucking coming to the forefront for me in my day-to-day. What Now will save it. So I hope you can take this into your own experiences. Always drop into my DMs on Instagram if you are feeling like this episode aligned for you, or you've got questions about, well, okay, this is great and how this is the thing that I'm going through. If you want to talk that out, I'm always here to talk to. Please share this episode with someone that you know could really feel supported from this conversation. You sharing the episode with your friends, with your family, with co-workers really allows me to get things like this, these big conversations, these conversations that a lot of us aren't speaking to every single day, but we probably need to be. It helps me get in people's ears. So I really appreciate it if you're able to share this episode. And I will see you next week. Done. Thanks for tuning in to today's episode. If this landed for you, I would love if you can share this conversation to your socials, and don't forget to tag at Inside Out with Chris. Don't also forget to hit subscribe or follow so you don't miss next week's conversation. Bye.